Well, Chad, if there's anybody who knows me pretty well by now, it's going to be you guys because of, all this stuff. But chat, this is a user submitted video. Chat, if you guys want to submit videos to me, Discord is in the description. You guys can always send me videos in the Discord. But this is a video called "Why is Everyone Becoming Chinese?" I mean, you already know, chat. I don't even gotta explain nothing. Let's watch.
It has come to my attention that we're all suddenly Chinese.
Now you're Chinese?
All right, I thought me being Chinese has to do with my crippling gotcha gambling addiction, but this works too. The morning since I discovered I'm Chinese. Okay.
I just found out from my cousin Sherry that I'm officially Chinese.
So, like many of you, I've recently been informed that I am Chinese. So, I just wanted to give a quick...
I swear these videos... Oh my god. These are funny, chat. These are funny. I mean, there's no harm in these videos, right? These videos are just hilarious to me.
So it's come to my attention that lately everyone on the internet is at a very Chinese time.
A very Chinese time in my life.
If that sentence.
Wait, where were they at?
Everyone on the internet.
You met me at a very Chinese time in my life.
At a very.
What is this place? It's pretty cool.
Chinese time in their life. If that sentence confused
is that confetti
you,
because of Chinese New Year?
So let's talk about why everyone is suddenly becoming
Chinese baddie.
Chinamaxing, or at a very Chinese time in their life. Hi guys, welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet, where I talk about all sorts of social media trends.
Sure.
And if you're new here, hi, my name is Barry. So rather than explaining to you what this trend is, because I'm not even sure if words are even capable of explaining what the latest meme is that's possessing the internet. What?
I don't know, honestly. Okay. I'll say it for me, right? The reason why I have so much, there's a lot of Chinese influence in what I do, is because I pretty much play their games, right? I play a ton of gacha games that come out of China because any game made by AAA Western studios are unfortunately dog. They're pretty dog water, so I have games like Genshin Impact, all the Hoyoverse games, right? Zelda Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves I kind of put down. Arknight's Enfield has my autism spiking, and of course you guys know I'm an official NTE content creator, so when that comes out I'll be playing that. But because of games like that, I do interact a lot more with Chinese social media and stuff like that, because you just kind of learn to use that stuff to learn about the games, and also I'm not banned there, so I can use Weibo to see the drip marketing when the drip marketing comes out, right? Anyways, that's how I got into that.
Better way.
I don't know how normal people got into that.
I found out I was Chinese last night.
Apparently I'm Chinese.
We're all Chinese now. As a Chinese baddie,
Mind you, this is all very, although it sounds very funny that all this is happening at the same time, this was very just, what's the word I'm looking for? This is just coincidental. I just coincidentally play gacha games when everybody else is trying to be Chinese, right?
officially Chinese.
Day 6 of being a diagnosed Chinese baddie. War modes.
Being a Chinese baddie.
Her face, bro. I mean, here's the thing about this stuff, about using like more traditional Chinese clothing, is I hear this trend is weird. I do think trends, when they go to TikTok, they're very weird, right? That's when, okay, now we're taking it a little too far. They have weird trends. They have trends like right now, one that's popping off is print catching print. Yeah, that's how you say it. TikTok is weird, bro. Normies shouldn't have access to the internet, because then this stuff happens. But also at the same time, I hear like actual Chinese people from like China and stuff like that, or at least from like other Asian cultures, they don't care if you wear their Chinese clothing as long as you respect it, right? Just keep that in mind. I mean, of course, people are gonna do this for views, right? It's what it is. You may have made a very Chinese time in my life.
As you can
Hands
see,
behind
a
the back.
majority of these videos tend to suggest that drinking hot water, boiling apples, eating congee in the morning, wearing slippers in the house, practicing Tai Chi means you're Chinese or signals your initiation into being Chinese.
Congrats, you are now Chinese. Send this to the love of your life to make them Chinese too, okay?
So it kind of seems like the trend came out of nowhere, but after doing some research, aka digging in TikTok comments, it seems
There
like
it
the
is.
trend first originated from an American Chinese girl named Sherry
Sherry.
Zhu, who
Yeah.
made a video telling her viewers that you are now also Chinese.
You don't know me, so if this is on your For You page, this is meant for you. 我是个 ABC， 所以如果你现在看我的视频的话，你也就是个 ABC。如果你认为我说的是错的话，你就不知道。你父母从来没有跟你说过，这是他们的秘密。但是我现在我就跟你说他们的秘密，你是个 ABC。
Of course.
You're telling me this is what sparked all of that? That's crazy. Now, I don't know if this is really what started the trend, but who knows?
I think so. I didn't know anybody else who did it before this, right? Oh, also, it has to probably do with when TikTok was probably getting shut down, right? A lot of people went to Xiaohongshu, and when TikTok came back, they eventually ended up coming back. So there was probably like some time there where, you know, people who didn't leave, right? If they used it and they just stayed there, they probably just started that, I guess. I don't know.
I'm a little bit skeptical,
Like being
since
in, like,
this TikTok
especially because
only
people
has
got
1 million
exposed to
views,
China.
200k
Chinese
likes, which
culture.
is not a small number, but it seems a little bit low to spark such an absurd trend to this degree.
Yeah.
But what do I know? Regardless of who or what started the
cares?
trend, what's fascinating is how it caught on and how everyone collectively decided to adopt Chinese culture and hard launch a brand new Chinese identity overnight. Now everyone is adopting these random little habits that to Chinese people are very normal, mundane, and
So I didn't know people didn't wear slippers around the house. I do it just because, like, one, I'm walking around in Silver Veil pajama pants. I'm not going to put on shoes. So I'm just going to put on slippers, right? I'm just going to walk around the house like that. And two, yeah, like it's just something that I've always done. I've just always had slippers on. It's just quicker. I don't know.
and habitual little things you do at home without even thinking about it. And that's pretty much what the trend is, which seems kind of random and kind of silly, but I think it does go a little bit deeper than that because I was thinking about what makes the meme so appealing. Why do people like this idea of becoming Chinese so much? Why do they like these particular habits? I think one of the main reasons is because all these little traits, these little habits have an underlying theme of health and wellness.
Chinese
Specifically,
medicine lifestyle.
traditional Chinese medicinal practices. Drinking hot water is
What did I
supposed
say? Did I
to
say
help your
medicine? I think I did.
digestion, increase circulation, and the balance of energy in your body. Guys, I'm a big fan of cold drinks, and
Me
my
too.
aunties always scolded
I love ice in my water so much. Like I don't know. Dude, something about cold water just makes it taste better. Does water actually have taste? No. But ice definitely makes it better.
me and told me I have to drink hot water.
Although
and
my water's now warm. Well, that kind of sucks. I mean, it works, right?
ignored them until I had health problems, and they're like, yeah, that's because you drink ice water all the time. And I thought it was nonsense, but when I switched to hot water, my health problems actually went away. Specifically, my congestion and energy levels, which is so random, but I don't know, I can't explain it. It just worked out for me. So maybe
I don't know if I want to do that. I drink mostly out of Gamer Subs cups. I have a ton of them, so I drink out of them. I'm mostly drinking out of the water jug, and the water jug is kind of big. I don't want to put this in the... I don't know if I want to put hot water in this. Maybe. I don't know.
The Chinese people are onto something.
Things you need to know when joining the becoming Chinese trend. Anderson cried, Chinese people don't use microwave to heat up tap water. Someone agreed, this is not very Chinese. For boiling water to drink, it's best to use a clay pot over wood fire. Besides the health benefits documented in traditional Chinese medicine text, the practical reason that Chinese people drink hot water was because during the Korean War, the United States dropped bacteriological bombs on North Korean and Chinese soils, causing massive casualties on civilians.
Okay, I did not even know that. I just thought Chinese people like to drink scalding hot water because all of my aunties, they like to drink hot water, and I don't mean just like hot, I mean like the kettle just and it's literally scalding hot and will give you burns, and that's the temperature that they like to drink at. Honestly,
Jesus.
had no idea that it had anything to do with chemical or biological warfare, but
I also
there you
didn't.
go.
When
I
did
guess
that happen?
that's why Chinese people are so used to drinking hot water and boiling their water. Congee is boiled rice until the rice falls apart into like a porridge consistency, and it's literally just watery, mushy rice. It's believed to be easy to digest and is commonly eaten in the morning when digestion is supposedly more sensitive. I don't know if this is true, by the way. I'm just a humble Canadian-born Chinese,
Shout out to
but I
Canada.
tend to only eat congee when I'm sick and I want plain food. And
I don't have mornings anymore. I just kind of like sleep whenever for like short period. I sleep in bursts. It's really bad. I've been had such a terrible sleep schedule for like the past week or two. It's not great. It's really not great, and I had to wake up early today, so that's even worse. But yeah, I don't do breakfast, chat. I don't know what you want from me.
and you know, just something simple, because when you're sick, you don't really have an appetite for like greasy or super flavorful foods, I feel like. And bonus fact about congee is that historically, eating congee is a way of stretching your resources out to last longer. So for example,
that's
if all you
smart.
can afford that week is 1 dozen eggs and you have to survive off of those eggs, you could pickle them and make salted eggs. So this is just an extremely salty egg that would give you a sodium attack, but then you don't get a sodium attack
Sodium
because
attack.
you eat it with a ton of congee, which is super plain boiled watery rice, and balances out.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? Like this kind of rice. It reminds me of a Mexican dish. I don't know if any of Hispanics in the chat will know. Well, I know I know a couple of my fans are Hispanic. Kind of reminds me of arroz con leche. I don't know why. It does. Although it's not as sweet. Like, it doesn't look like it's going to be sweet, right? But that's more of a breakfast, dinner kind of thing for Hispanics, at least.
The extreme salty flavor.
Well, I
So
can
you
only
just need like
I can only speak for me. I'm Mexican. So for Mexicans, I don't know if anybody else from any different type of like Hispanic background will know.
a tiny
Well, we'll
piece
have that.
of salty
Right.
egg and a whole bowl of congee, and you can survive off of that. And you could also do this with other cheap ingredients like tofu, pickled vegetables, salted nuts, things like that. Side note, this trend peaked right before Chinese New Year, which is why you might have heard about the Year of the Horse, which is this year's zodiac. Along with all
Hans.
these superstitions of things you can and can't do for Chinese
Is it too late to get Chinese New Year art? I don't know. I don't really pay for art though. I should get more art.
New Year. One of them includes not eating congee because it's associated with poverty and struggle. Instead, you're encouraged to eat expensive foods to bring in wealth and prosperity. Noodles because they're long for longevity and long life. And there's a bunch of other superstitious habits and foods as well, like no cleaning or washing your
hair, yeah.
for Chinese New Year, because that's supposedly
I may or may not have done that. It also may or may not have been. You know what? You guys don't need to know.
washes away the good luck for
I'm
the
sure my hair didn't smell that great that day, but still.
year. And these are all things that I guess
I was
adds
sweaty.
more fun side quests for people to participate in becoming Chinese. But to Chinese people, this is nothing new. These are things that we've been doing before it was
Remember the
cool,
Chinese
and
New
we'll
Year's in the
continue
trend.
to do.
I think the word trend is just being overused. I think that's a discussion that no one's really had for a while. Or at all. Yeah, it's not a trend. It's an actual thing. Things happen. Like, I think the word trend is just being used too often for everything. So, yes, Chinese New Year is in fact not a trend. It is a date where people celebrate New Year in China. It's not a trend. They've kind of been doing it for a while. And China is, I don't know if you know this, China may or may not be like a decade old. They've been around for a bit, right?
When it's not cool. And the to-do list of becoming Chinese continues.
At minimum 3 years old.
Tai Chi, which is the slow exercise that you'll see old people doing at the park. That's also low impact on the joints, good for balance and posture, mental focus, stress reduction, and flexibility. Wearing slippers,
should be doing that,
which
but I
we've
like the gym
seen
too much.
in a bunch of these videos, is popular because wearing slippers in the house keeps your house cleaner, but also I think it's kind of like a mental thing that separates your home from the outside world, so that your home is kind of a protected and private space.
Now that everyone is Chinese, let me tell you why Chinese people wear slippers.
That's also why I wear my gamer sub Silverveil pants. Use code whatever code you have. I don't know. I don't have a code.
In the home. We do that to keep our feet warm. So in Chinese medicine, we have a lot of meridians or channels to start in our feet, such as our spleen, our stomach, our liver, our kidney. And all of these meridians go up our legs, travel our legs, and enter our abdomen. So cold feet means cold abdomen. Cold abdomen means that you might have digestive issues, fertility issues, anything that is cold and stagnant. So next time you're in the home, please wear slippers or even socks. Do anything you can to warm your feet, and your life and your health will transform.
And all of these little habits are related to health and wellness, which, as we know, has been a popularized trend for many years now. So this is kind of just like a new little ethnic spin to it, along with...
Hit the gym, chat. I'll see you there. I totally won't skip today or anything. Chat, I'm just tired, okay? I'm sitting in the parking lot. I just got off work. Give me 10 minutes. I'll be in there. Also, dude, there's only one thing that I'll say this. There is only one thing that me and Hassan Piker can agree on, and is that this sweater right here. Hold on, let me show you. This Adidas sweater is fire. This Chinese Adidas sweater. That's fire, dude. That's really fire.
The internet's new fascination with China, which I'm sure you guys are all aware of by now, that China is kind of cool now. And it's...
I love Chongqing.
Kind of giving the same vibe as like when I was in high school, I was a big anime.
I didn't realize how many of my bits actually revolve around China. Huh. I should have looked into that. Anyways.
Enjoyer, and that was weird and cringe. And then I think
what was that? Wait, what was that?
A big anime enjoyer, and that was...
Wait, you've had enough of being called a weeaboo. Never seen that. That's hilarious.
Weird and cringe. And then I think during COVID, that's when anime started to become popular and cool. The same thing with K-pop. K-pop fans used to be viewed...
I haven't heard K-pop. I think outside of K-pop Demon Hunters and BTS, K-pop hasn't really been that huge in a while, right? Or is it just because I don't listen to it anymore? I used to listen to it all the time. Chat. Let me put it to you like this. It's been so long since I've listened to K-pop. The last time I listened to K-pop, BTS just dropped. And I don't mean they dropped an album. No, I mean they debuted. That's how long it's been. So I've known BTS since they've debuted. I actually love BTS, mostly because they had the hip hop. Also, fun fact, if you're wondering why I say hip hop, it is a BTS reference. Rap Monster, in one of his English vlogs, he says, my name is R-A-P Monster, not D-A-N-C-E Monster. And he talks about hip hop, so he says hip hop. That's the way he says it, and that's the way I've been saying it, because he has a deeper voice than me, so that's why I say it like that.
As cringy and weird, and suddenly K-pop and K-drama became popularized and widely accepted, and now that's cool too. So yeah, now I haven't
watched K-dramas in so long.
Kind of seems like it's China's turn, with their reputation being technologically advanced and rapidly developing. It's no.
What was that?
Being technologically advanced and
I thought that was something else. Don't worry about
and
it.
rapidly developing,
China
it's
these
no
days.
surprise that they're the next new and fun and edgy cool thing. I also think it's because TikTok blew up so quickly, and as we know, TikTok is or was, I don't know if it's still owned by a Chinese company or if it's been sold, but originally
I know, god damn it, it was sold. I know, chat, you know how I know it was sold? I know it was sold because there was a wave, like not too long ago. Like it wasn't a long time ago, but it was a little bit, like maybe a month or two ago. I knew that TikTok had been sold because all I saw was a bunch of people putting Western American political bullshit on Xiao Hongshu. Bro, come on. Really? In my Chinese space, you want to do this? I hate people. I hate people. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them so much.
A Chinese company. And naturally, as you can imagine, being a Chinese app, there's going to be lots of Chinese content on it and therefore exposing the users to China and its culture. And then in 2025,
I like these old
iShowSpeed
videos.
went to China, which only made...
Dude, this was huge. This was huge for like the PR of China. iShowSpeed does a lot of like, every time he goes somewhere, it's usually a positive PR. And it also made me realize how good of a streamer Speed is, right? Because I'd still seen him like that annoying kid for like the longest time until I seen this stream. And I seen how good of a streamer I think he is, right? I think he's a great streamer.
China
He's
even
really
more
grown
popular.
into his
And
he's
I
really
think that's
grown
because Americans just
into
had
like
no
a
idea
great
what China
entertainer.
was really like, and it wasn't
Yeah.
at all what they thought it was going to be like. Mobile payments for everything, and
Yeah.
I mean literally everything. High-speed trains and infrastructure, modern city nightlife, tech forward and
Yeah,
innovative,
Chongqing definitely,
and that's
like-
just to name a few things. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that
Definitely,
this meme probably caught
was a
on
pretty
in
sick
part
place.
due to China becoming really popular. And I think it comes from a place of
Adidas
just
sweater.
wanting to engage and interact
I want that
with
Adidas sweater,
Chinese
bro. It's so
culture in
fire.
a fun little way, you know, through food, home habits,
Mm-hmm.
nothing too serious or political. However, some people, especially American Chinese people, find this trend to be cultural appropriation
Mm.
and a little bit off-putting, which is totally understandable.
Oh, you guys caught me at such a Chinese time of my life. Did you guys want to be Chinese in 2020? Did you guys want to be Chinese during COVID? Huh?
To clarify this, although I am in a Chinese time of my life, don't get it twisted, I am still Mexican. Literally got bullied my whole childhood at school for being Chinese, and now suddenly everyone wants to be Chinese. This doesn't sit well with me. This just happens with everything, right? I mean, it's the same thing with anime. Everybody hated anime until 2020. It was 2020. It was like a huge shift where everything that people kept close to the chest got exposed to the world because everyone finally had time to just sit down, go on the internet, and just see what everything was about. And it was probably the worst time for any of that stuff to happen. Because now we have all this stuff with people wanting to be activists in places where they shouldn't, right? Like the whole thing with Fan and people trying to call her out and they'll be like, oh, yes, I will be an actor. Like now people are insufferable, but it's taken some time and a shit ton of elbow grease, but I think we've really gotten rid of like the tourists for the most part. Although unfortunately in Uma Musume, tons of tourists that are trying to kick out regular players. And that's the worst part about it, is that it'll always be the tourists that come into your space and then kick you out and act like they were supposed to be there. And that is the most obnoxious thing ever. But not when I'm around, brother, that's for sure.
When I was 3, I literally told my mom in a Toys R Us that I hated Chinese people and wished I was white. I used to hate being Asian.
It's the first time being Chinese. Were you... It's my first time being Chinese. Were you Chinese 6 years ago when you asked if I ate... when you called my food... you pulled blah 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 and being Chinese wasn't a trend? I mean, I couldn't even be exposed to that myself personally because I've grown up around nothing but Mexicans my whole life, or Hispanics. My friend group growing up is very diverse in our Hispanic representation, I guess is the word, because I'm Mexican, My friend was Honduran. Another friend was El Salvadorian. Another friend was Mexican, and well, he was half Mexican, half I forgot where his dad was from, but he was Middle Eastern. And then a white boy. You always gotta have a token white boy.
Everyone who's currently at a very Chinese time in their life, I have a question for you. What was your attitude towards Chinese culture like during 2020, during the pandemic?
Didn't know much about it.
Because one thing that we have forgotten, all the racial slurs that were hurled towards us during that time period. Don't think
We all got those. To be fair, we've all gotten those kind of slurs. I've gotten those kind of slurs. Everyone's gotten those kind of slurs. You do not want to see the kind of things that Hispanics say. They would understand it because Asians have animosity towards other Asians. Hispanics are the same. They have animosity towards other Hispanics. So I've heard it all.
I think we've forgotten about the wave of Asian hate that happened during those years. It still kind of blows my mind how it took the threat of TikTok being shut down for people to finally open their eyes and realize that China is not this barbaric country that it's been made out to be for so long. There's actually, in fact, more to Chinese culture than eating dogs. And people have told me not to be upset that it's taken this long because better late than never, I guess. But that doesn't make up for all the discrimination Asian Americans have faced, especially Chinese Americans, because our culture was never the cool, trendy Asian one. And the saddest part is, at first I was grateful for China becoming trending, because this is something I waited for.
To be fair, people are still incredibly racist towards Japanese people online. There are two people that are okay to make fun of online. It's Indian people and Japanese people on Twitter. I don't know why, but people just because I don't know what is it about Japan that these people think that they could just talk to them any kind of way. But it's sad to see, right? It's sad to see when people talk like that towards anyone. But it's even worse to see that it's accepted. That's what I hate. I hate to see that it's accepted. Right? Chat, never make fun of someone. Chat. Making someone for their immutable characteristics, that's lowbrow. We're high-class haters here. Make fun of them as a person. Make fun of what they do. Make them question their lives. That's how you really hate. Because we're D1 haters. Chat, I will not have any kind of lowbrow hate. You hate to your fullest potential, or you don't hate at all.
For my whole life, for my own culture to finally stop being demonized. And at first it felt so relieving that I finally didn't have to fight to defend myself, that Chinese culture is so beautiful. And I'm not saying the country is perfect as a whole, but I was so happy that people were finally willing to give us a chance. But that's so sad because it's so easy for you guys to forget everything that we've gone through and experienced as Chinese Americans, and for you to just laugh everything off. And now that China is trendy, you can be like, oh, I had a very Chinese time in my life. I make all these memes about appreciating China, etc. When just a few years ago, you had no problem tearing us down for no reason. When we can't even speak up about it, because we should just be grateful that you guys are finally looking at Chinese culture in a positive light.
I will say this, though. She is making a point, and this point does apply to me as well. And I'll talk about my personal experience. I didn't know much about China before recent times, right before I started playing Genshin Impact and looking more into the culture after like being exposed to their games, which is why I think video games are a beautiful thing. You can exchange so much culture in video games, right? Every video game that I play, every gacha game has a Chinese area, right? Wuling, the Xianzhou Lofu, Jinzhou, Liyue, I'm sure there's one in NTE, but I can't think of it right now. Right? There's all these places where it's like Chinese inspired, and something about these games really got me to look more into that. But before that, I just didn't know, right? I didn't even know how technologically advanced China is before, and I'll admit to that, right? I didn't know. It just like I just didn't know, right, chat? Because unfortunately, and this is I don't want to be like, oh, China, well, America, blah 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 blah. But I just, I've been told my entire life that China is like, it's what it is, right? Although, learning for myself is like, dude, maybe I should look into more things by myself, right? That's just what I'm gonna say.
And being Chinese myself, I can totally understand both sides. It's kind of like, oh, being Chinese for you is a quirky and fun little joke. But for Chinese people, it's their identity being reduced to just a trend, fashion statement, or aesthetic.
I'm real about
kind
this.
of like a
Chat, I'm real
costume
about
that
this.
you can just put on and take off whenever you want to.
That's pretty
and
sick.
a lot of Chinese Americans are offended by this because the very thing that made them experience racism for decades, being Chinese, is now cool.
It's very
and being
true.
celebrated, which is
I
great.
understand it
but
completely.
That
I completely
hasn't
understand
always
it.
been the case. And as you can see, a lot of creators are mentioning the COVID pandemic when Asian hate and particularly Chinese hate was at its peak. And it was actually pretty.
What did Kung Min Lee say? Asian hate went away when people found out who were hating on Asians. Like, it sucks the way Asians are treated because for some reason, like, I can't understand it. It feels like marginalized groups that should be respected doesn't apply to Asians, and I hate that, bro. Everyone should be respected at all times, forever, period. As long as you're respectable. There's a certain people that are like, we don't talk about them. We'll let the courts decide for them, but for like normal everyday people, there's no reason why someone shouldn't be respected just because of the person that they are or what they were born as, right?
Bad. Like, I remember seeing a lot of articles of violence against Asians, particularly Chinese elderly people who couldn't defend themselves. My uncle's cafe was broken into and trashed that time, along with several other surrounding Chinese-owned businesses.
Disgusting, bro.
So it was not
disgusting.
a fun time in 2020 to be Chinese, because if you were Chinese at that time in your life, that also meant that you eat dogs and bats, and you're probably unsanitary and probably carrying a virus. But yeah, being Chinese is cool now because they have cheap electric cars, funny internet memes, and
cool.
I show speed likes China, so yay, I guess. For Chinese people in China, on the other hand, their view on this meme is that it's just a regular day on the internet. For
Right.
them, it's just another internet meme. On other Chinese platforms like Douyin and Weibo, their response is generally joking back, like, wait until your parents ask you when you're gonna get married, or wait until the only career
Love
path
Weibo.
you're allowed to have is to become a doctor, lawyer, or
Oh,
engineer.
no.
I think it's also validating for them to
Disgrace
have
the
their culture
family.
appreciated and recognized globally, because
I have had nothing but absolutely beautiful and great interactions with the Chinese community, right? Because, like I said, I do talk about these games. I also talk about the games on their social media. I'm just, the Western VTuber guy. They've been very nice to me. I've had a few posts blow up on Xiaohongshu just asking questions about, like, Genshin Impact and stuff like that, because that's the game that I play, right? I try to, like I said, dude, these games bring people together, and I've had nothing but great interactions this whole time, right? Chat, I will be the face that brings America and China I will bring the West and China together, chat. It'll be me. I have very positive Chinese PR. It'll be left to me. Well, actually, no, it was Speed. It was definitely Speed. Speed was someone that, like, had such great PR while he was over there.
Until recently, global pop culture has mostly been dominated by Western media. But yeah, they're just not that serious about
should
it.
talk about
Probably
video
because
games. That'd be
they're
kinda
in
great.
China where everyone is Chinese. So they didn't have to experience, years of racism.
not.
So their view on this meme is generally positive, and that is just
Welcome more people to enjoy our culture and customs.
a silly way of Westerners appreciating and showing interest in their culture. I also think part of the meme is kind of poking fun at how Gen Z likes to adopt temporary trends and aesthetics as a whole identity. For
Yeah.
example, Strawberry Girl Summer, It Girl, Clean Girl, French Girl Chic, Scandi style, where
girl failure.
you can just
Oh, no, sorry.
change
Sorry.
one little thing about yourself, like drinking hot water, wearing slippers in the house, and give yourself a whole new identity makeover.
Excuse me, what's this line for? Oh, we're content creators getting in on this new viral trend. Yeah, super lucrative. You can get millions
So
of
show,
views.
it's true.
Wow, I want
Yeah, it
millions
is.
of views.
I recognize
What do I have to do?
the layout.
Get a load of
The
this
UI.
guy. Mate, becoming Chinese is no joke. I can tell just by looking at you, you do not have what it takes. What do you mean? Mate, could you drink boiling hot water every day? No pain, no gain. There's Mandarin coming along. Konnichiwa.
Close enough.
안녕하세요.
Close enough.
What is happening? You two, front of the line, you're exactly what we're looking for. What about you? What are your qualifications? Well, I speak Mandarin and I've traveled pretty extensively around the country. Beijing, Shanghai, that cyberpunk city I can't pronounce. I went to some smaller villages
Chongqing.
like in Yunnan and Gansu. and
Gansu.
Never heard of them. Too niche. Move on. Oh, you boo-boo, straight to the front.
Boo-boo.
Is it a very Chinese time in your life? Social media users are adopting habits like drinking hot water, wearing slippers at home, and doing traditional Chinese exercises to become
Morning
a
routine.
Chinese baddie. It's all part of China maxing, a trend where young Westerners are embracing Chinese culture and aesthetics online. It marks a major vibe shift within the American public after years of xenophobia that ramped up during COVID and recent geopolitical tensions.
China, 67%.
I love
that's
China.
Some experts say it reflects a deeper dissatisfaction with life at home. Ongoing issues like the anti-immigration crackdown, political turmoil, and gun violence have dulled the veneer of the US, pushing some young people to look elsewhere. Their curiosity about China is partly fueled by the country's post-pandemic reopening, including relaxed visa stays and efforts to promote tourism. On social media, viral clips about seemingly futuristic cities have added to the fascination.
Chongqing,
a
yes,
glimpse of progress in China, though oversimplified, presents a striking contrast to what's happening back in America. This internet trend has been controversial too, with some Chinese diaspora calling it insensitive and cultural appropriation. But for a brief moment, it offers an unlikely digital bridge between two cultures often divided by politics.
So I'm wondering if there's also a lot of like politics behind this trend.
It's quite interesting to me how China is suddenly cool with people being in a very Chinese time of their life. I think it's very different to when Japan was trending from the 80s and Korea was trending since 2000s and 2010s because they're both US allies and US even helped Japan completely rebrand, so most people don't even know about Japan's war crimes. So when Japan and Korea became popular, there was a lot of curiosity and fascination and alliance with the media and government positions. But with China, governments and media, especially the US, have portrayed China and anything Chinese in the worst way for decades, and you grew up thinking China is an enemy and this dystopian place. It was impossible for China to build any soft power because this narrative was so dominant, and if you say anything positive, it will be labeled CCP propaganda. But even with billions of dollars spent to make you hate China, eventually you just don't buy it anymore, and that started happening in 2025. People jumped on Xiaohongshu and visited China themselves, also other people visit and realized it was not what they were told. Actually, it was opposite with how friendly everyone is and how safe and advanced it is. So China and Chinese culture mainly started trending because people became more skeptical of their own government and media and the narrative they wanted you to believe, and coming onto social media,
I Shall Speed helped like a lot too,
and seeing a completely different side.
To me, on first impression, I thought it was kind of just very lighthearted, very hee hee ha ha, nothing serious, kind of silly, but also it's a little off-putting. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was very confused when I just opened my phone one day and saw a Caucasian woman telling me that she's Chinese. I'm like, oh. And I just, did what the normal person does and opened the comment section to see what other people are saying about this. And unsurprisingly, it was pretty divided. Like, there's some supportive comments that are validating her and also supporting her. People also engaging in this Chinese time in their life.
There's a new trend going on with people saying, you found me at a very Chinese time of my life from non-Chinese people. And drinking hot water, understanding that cold water is really bad for you. Eating jujube dates.
Is it really that bad for you? I like it cold.
Apple tea, doing qigong exercises, and using Chinese medicine principles. Focusing on your health? Oh yeah. I'm so happy that you're at a very Chinese time of your life. Because me too. I've never been more Chinese than this. Welcome to my culture. I'm so happy you're here.
Aw, she's so sweet.
Yeah. Shout out to everyone out there that's saying you met me at a real Chinese time in my life.
I recently found out that I'm Chinese.
It's my first
It's always that song too.
Attention that we're all suddenly Chinese.
I'm happy to have you on board. As we say in Chinese culture, welcome to La Familia. But I do warn you that, I don't think you want this life. As the great Ronnie Coleman once said, everybody want to be Chinese, but don't nobody want to do no Chinese shit. Like, oh.
The king, baby. Everyone loves the king.
Oh, you're drinking hot apple tea now? That's great, but when's the last time you innovated in a STEM field? Did you even master linear algebra? Like, can you solve this? If not, I would say
Oh God, shit. Okay, maybe I'm not that Chinese. I was so bad at math. Algebra was the last. I don't even know. Algebra was the last math I did, and I sucked at it. Chad, I'm so bad at math. It's really, really bad. Maybe I'm like the disgraced part of a Chinese family.
Put down the hot
Because instead of like doing good in studies and stuff like that, I was more in the streets.
apple tea and figure it out. If you're
Yeah.
trying to be Chinese. Like, oh, you're majoring in music at NYU?
I'm gonna be the one who's like the caring or the older brother that just instead of going to school, he went to work, and he's taking care of his siblings, and they look to me, and I gotta have a heart to heart and be like, you don't want to end up like me. I'll be that kind of Chinese.
Fortunately, if you're trying to be Chinese, you're going to have to cut that shit out.
Yeah.
Huawei needs precision manufacturing.
Huawei?
engineers. I'm sorry, just majoring in
I
music.
took
is
care of
not
my
going to
family.
increase
Oh my God,
the
this is
value
so good.
of your family or your province.
Dude, this
so
guy
you're
is-
going to need to
I
be
love
a
this guy.
precision manufacturing engineer.
name
But yeah,
Real
welcome
Dan
you to
Yang.
being Chinese. Just know the work is just beginning.
Yeah.
Wearing house slippers and eating hot pot doesn't make you a Chinese baddie. Developing autonomous self-driving harvesters and using them to increase grain production by up to 72%.
That's actually how to be
that's
real
being a
Chinese.
baddie.
Yeah, true. Sound of my life, okay, but are you Chinese enough to suck on Chinese toes? Okay, I don't even do this for Mexican food, right? Because chicken feet is a Mexican dish as well. I'm pretty sure, but there's also stuff that I don't eat that is like, you know, considered very Mexican, like lengua. Chat, I can't stomach the idea of eating cow tongue. People are telling me it's really good. I'm not swapping spit with a cow. Okay? For some reason, I can't do it, dude. I prefer chicken anyways.
Oh my god, guys.
I can't do it.
I'm not Chinese enough for this.
Yeah, me
I'm
either.
not gonna lie. Them chicken toes are actually good though, but it depends on how you cook it.
Oh, I might be a little late to the party, but Chinese New Year's being celebrated by other people is completely fine. I don't know why, but there's like this huge discourse online where it's like, oh my god, you guys are making fun of Chinese New Year's. Oh, you met me in such a Chinese part of my life, or something like that. I don't exactly understand why people are so sensitive. They're not making fun of you. Maybe it might be a trend and not genuine, but that's how most things start. If you want people to enjoy your culture, you have to make it fun. Making it a trend, sure, that's fun. Obviously, if it's a trend, some people are going to grift, but some people will stay and will genuinely appreciate the culture.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really know how I feel about this trend either. And it seems like the internet is also divided as well. We don't know how to feel about it. There's
I can see
equal
that.
parts of people who appreciate their culture being celebrated and enjoyed and recognized. And there's another group that's like, I don't know, what about, you know, COVID? What about all those years when being Chinese was really hard and people were racist? And then there's also people who feel both. So that's about it for this trend. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's harmless and a lighthearted way to appreciate and participate in Chinese culture? Or is it inappropriate to make jokes about being Chinese for the sake of a video and trend? Or do you have other opinions? I would love to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up to let me know and subscribe for more videos like these. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
That was a great video. Here's the hard part. Here, God, I had a whole idea that I was gonna say. I think the people who are doing this, me included, me definitely included, is I'm gonna try to figure out how to say this. People who are doing trends like this don't over extend and don't overstay your welcome. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. That's probably not the right word, but you know, you want to do everything with a modicum of respect, right? I understand this as well, of course. Again, like I said, I'm Mexican, and you know, there's a certain point where Mexican culture was being adopted and stuff like that. There's even like a video of people, you know, that there's an old video on the internet of a guy walking around in like a poncho and a hat with a mustache, and the people who are telling him that he's being inappropriate and cultural appropriating were people who weren't Mexican, right? So if someone who is Chinese like tells you something is like, okay, that's just kind of inappropriate, you're kind of going too far with that. I mean, I feel like you should respect that and you should listen. That's how I feel, right? Because it's not really our culture, whatever culture you might be, but if it is your culture, hey, that's you. You have the right to tell someone when they're like, all right, dude, you kind of crossed the line. I'm having a great time. I hope everyone else is having a great time. Like I said, show respect. And, you know, appreciating other people's culture. Appreciate other people's cultures, learn other people's cultures. It's how you really grow as a person, I feel like. Anyways, chat. That was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. It got a lot more deep and philosophical than I thought it was going to be. Chat, let me know how you guys feel. Comment, subscribe. I'll catch you gamers in the next one. Bye.